Alright guys, I'm back with my review of this week's episode of TNA Impact Wrestling for November 15th, 2012. And to me personally, this show felt like it just dragged on. And I think a lot of that is because we didn't really get anything new. It's still setting up AJ versus Christopher Daniels again. The Aces stuff was all over the place. And I did like Rude versus Storm, but we've seen that. So, I don't know, I didn't really care much for this show this week, but it starts off with James Storm coming out, and he says he did it. He thanks the fans and his family. He's #1 contender. So Bobby Roode comes out with some beers, says he beat AJ, but he didn't beat him. And his fans will watch him fail yet again. Storm attacks him after he starts talking about his family, and Roode escapes. Roode says he refuses to fight unless Storm puts up the #1 contendership. So Storm refuses until Bobby Roode tells him to have his daughter call him when she turns 18. This tricks Storm into accepting the match. He falls for it, and later tonight, the main event, Bobby Roode versus James Storm for the #1 contendership. We get Taz, Kenelli, and TNA on commentary. Backstage, Hogan says AJ is his own worst enemy. What was up with his mustache? That was a mustache. I mean, this thing, I don't know. Hogan's mustache was just like down to here and thick as hell. It was ridiculous looking, but that's the first thing I thought when I saw him. I was like, what the hell is up with his mustache? It never looks like that. It's usually trimmed. I guess he let it go. But another recap of Sting getting attacked. The Aces vice president asked Doc if he thinks he's done enough to make up for exposing his identity. And he says that he'll do whatever he has to. And the leader says, or the vice president says, he will find out how they voted later on tonight, whether he's going to be in the Aces or whether he's getting kicked out. And they throw another dart at the board and I guess pick another victim. And then we see the Aces celebrating, and two of them have some drinks, and one of them goes up for a fist bump and gets completely denied. Oh man, the others are like banging the glasses together, and he's just standing there with his fist and sits it down, so that was pretty funny. RVD versus Kid Kash for the X Division title. RVD wins with a frog splash. Match was a little sloppy, I thought. Eric Young and ODB backstage. He's talking about his TV show. Garrett and Wes Briscoe both want to be Kurt Angle's tag team partner later tonight against the Aces. Angle chooses Garrett. It's not like he had a lot of options, but Eric Young versus Jesse. I thought this lasted a little long here, but ODB stops Tara from getting in the ring. Jesse wins with a stunner. This is going to build up to a Knockouts tag title match, probably, with Jesse and Tara beating Eric Young and ODB, and then Eric Young can go do his TV show and leave TNA. Joseph Park asks Hogan for another match. He says he wants another match, and Hogan says people in hell want ice water. So Joseph Park thinks that Hogan's telling him he needs to go train, go to wrestling camp. And Hogan says no, and Park says, I'm coming back, Hogan. Or, I'm coming back, Hulk, and you're going to be impressed. So, it's supposed to be Magnus versus Samoa Joe up next for the TV title, which makes no sense because why would Magnus be getting another shot at the TV title, but whatever. So Magnus comes down to the ring, and before the match starts, we don't even see Samoa Joe on the show. He gets attacked by the Aces and Eights. They lay him out with a baseball bat. They hold him down while Doc beats him with a hammer. And then they sit him up, and Devon's about to murder him with the baseball bat. And someone in the crowd says, "Oh, hell no." And then Bully Ray runs out and chases him away. After commercial, we see Magnus get taken out on a stretcher. Austin Aries goes to get a massage by some lady, and Jeff Hardy's already there getting one. So I guess they only have one masseuse on the payroll for the TNA wrestlers. And Aries tells Hardy that he has to respect him for the match, but it's not over. And after he leaves, we see Jeff Hardy and we hear his thoughts again. He's not saying anything, we just hear what he's thinking. And he's holding his necklace, and he's looking at it, and he says that Austin Aries came into his dimension without the title, and he left his dimension without the title. This was just fucking stupid. This is so ridiculous. This is like the third time they've done this. It's horrible. It's just, it completely, you cannot suspend disbelief watching this crap. So Angle and Garrett versus Devon and the Ace with the big mustache on his mask. I don't know. It was okay, I guess. The Vice President attacks Garrett. Doc gets in the ring with the hammer, but Wes Briscoe runs out with a pipe and chases them away. Angle low blows the Aces member with the mustache and rolls him up for the win. Aces look weak again. So this was, I don't know. The finish was all over the place. They're really just making the Aces look like crap. I mean, even the Vice President got knocked down here. So these guys don't look like much at all. I was thinking later on in the show when they're supposed to vote for Doc, whether he gets to stay or go. Who really cares? If I was Doc, I wouldn't really care at all because these guys do nothing but lose. Why would you even want to be a part of them? So it doesn't really make any sense to me, but it's also funny because Wes Briscoe, he's the Aces and Eights member with the long hair, which is exactly why that guy wasn't at ringside during this part, but he's in the clubhouse later. So, I don't know. Tara and Jesse walk into Brooke Hogan's office. They catch her on the couch with Bully Ray. Bully Ray gets up like they've been up to something and leaves the office. So I guess that's supposed to be a little love angle thing. Who really cares? So Dixie tells us she's never seen AJ this unfocused. We get a Knockouts Battle Royal for the #1 contender. It's Gail Kim, Madison Rayne, ODB, Tessmacher, and Mickie James. If they only have 5 women, why in the hell did they make this a Battle Royal? It should have just been a 4-way match. Take ODB out because she's already in a feud with Tara, and just have a 4-way. Why make it a Battle Royal when you know the roster is this small? So it comes down to Gail and Mickie James. Mickie kicks her off the apron for the win. So Mickey's #1 contender now. Storm's cutting a promo backstage when AJ walks up and just stares at him, walks away. Back at the clubhouse, Doc gets kicked out of the Aces. They say don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. But it was a swerve. As he opens the door to leave, he sees the mustache-masked Aces member holding his jacket. And everything's great again. The Aces are happy, they're celebrating, and they seem really happy for a group that just lost yet another match. AJ comes out, says he's had a bad year. He was accused of banging Dixie Carter and having a baby with a crackhead. He says he isn't thankful for anything this year. Kazarian and Daniels come out. Awesome Wolverine shirt on Daniels, by the way. And Daniels says that AJ only has himself to blame for all these problems this year, and he's a failure. So AJ challenges Daniels to one last match. Like, we need to see this again. And Kazarian says Daniels has no reason to accept this, but Daniels does accept it. So, AJ versus Christopher Daniels again. Aries says that he's going to start pushing buttons next week on Open Fight Night and call someone out to help him get to the truth. Maybe it's Jesse Ventura. Kurt Angle asked the Gut Check judges to let Wes Briscoe into Gut Check. Bobby Roode versus James Storm for #1 contender. Storm goes for the super kick. Roode uses the ref as a shield. Storm pushes away the ref, hits the exposed turnbuckle, and Roode rolls him up, holds the tights for the win here. New #1 contender. It makes sense. Jeff Hardy needs a heel to face. Doesn't make any sense to have James Storm versus Jeff Hardy. So I predicted Roode would win at Turning Point, but I guess this is the same thing anyways, so it's still Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy. I guess they just wanted to save it for Impact, have something for Impact this week. Next week, I guess, is the Thanksgiving special episode. They're supposed to have all the Gut Check people out there that we haven't seen since they've won. So maybe they'll explain that. I don't know. But yeah, this show this week, I didn't really care much for it. It felt like the same old stuff. Nothing new. The Aces are still running around like morons. and really just getting beaten over and over again. I mean, these guys, it's like they do one thing to look strong, and then they just look weak the rest of the night. Every time they're in a big brawl, they get their asses kicked. So, I don't know. I mean, it's like the NWO. When those guys first came out and people thought it was cool and they wanted to be a part of the NWO and buy the t-shirts, the Aces and Eights are not cool. They suck. And it started off strong, but it's turned into a big crap fest for the most part. But yeah, I didn't really care much for Impact this week. So that's my review of this week's show. Hope you guys liked this video. Leave your thoughts on this week's episode in the comments below, and thanks for watching.